with prospective Acumatica partners looking into adding Acumatica ERP to their partner portfolio of ERPs to represent. So I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself, Noelle, real quick, and then we'll hand it over to Tom.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much, Adrienne. Welcome back from a long holiday weekend. Hope everybody had a good holiday. And yes, as Adrienne mentioned, I'm with the partner recruitment side of the team at Acumatica. And for any of you who are on the line that are considering becoming a partner, we can talk with you a little bit more in detail later. But about Acumatica, in a quick commercial here, we are celebrating 10 years in the business. We were established in 2008, and we are a true cloud ERP offering, delivering adaptable cloud and mobile technology with unique all-inclusive user licensing modeling, enabling a complete real-time view for your business anytime and anywhere. We provide a full suite of integrated business management applications, including financials, manufacturing, distribution, project accounting, and even CRM. So we are targeted, our platform is really targeted for the mid-sized customers. And for any of you who are interested in coming on board as a partner, again, we can talk a little bit more on a separate call, but overall, we have a focus of selling 100% through the channel. We do not have a direct sales team, so we will not be competing with you on any opportunity that you are working on. We provide, industry's best margins and terms to our partners. We have a comprehensive onboarding enablement program, and we have Acumatica University, which is free for online training and to help our partners learn how to sell and implement. And we have an all-encompassing partner portal with a lot of information from marketing and support and canned demos and everything. So if you are interested for more information, please feel free to reach out at the end of the call today, and we can get your information. We can follow through with an additional conversation. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Noelle. My name is Tom Costa, and I'm also with Acumatica. And when Adrienne and Noelle and I started talking about this presentation today, I was thinking about, all of the presentations I've done over the last couple of years, and I average, about a little over 100 customer presentations a year. And I wanted to try to focus on some of the features and functions within Acumatica that really get the most play from the prospective customers that are looking at Acumatica. So as we look into that, there are a number of features in sales order processing. Now, in and of itself, sales order processing is sales order processing is sales order processing. But there are 4 or 5 unique features inside of Acumatica that, like I said, get a lot of interest from prospective customers. And also, Acumatica is about the 8th ERP system I've worked with over the last 30 years. So these are also features that I haven't necessarily seen in any of the existing products that I've worked with over the last, couple of decades there. So sales order processing we're going to focus on first, then Outlook integration. And a number of ERP providers, software providers, provide some kind of Exchange integration or Outlook integration, but I did want to highlight ours because it is what I'll be showing is included with our CRM suite, so there is no additional charges for it, and it is incredibly easy to use, and I think that's really the differentiator there. Customers see how easy it is for their salespeople to use this Outlook integration, and they say, yes, our guys would probably use this, as opposed to something that's a lot harder to use and then becomes unusable and not used. We'll then talk about our customer portal and what features we can have in the area of customer self-service. We'll go into our field service suite, which again is a differentiator since it's included from Acumatica. And when we're looking at our field service module, We'll also be touching on our mobile capabilities, which again is something that especially a lot of the legacy customers I present to really don't have access to, the ability to use something that was written 30 or 40 years ago on their mobile phone, obviously, because mobile phones weren't really available when these older products were originally written. And then we'll talk a little bit about workflow automation as well. So why don't we go ahead and get started? So I'll kill my PowerPoint and bring up my Acumatica screen. And we'll go over to our sales order module. And as you can see, when I clicked on the module, everything about that module is readily available on one screen, whether it's a transaction, whether it's a business process, any of the reports, or any of the forms. This is our quick menu, but we also have a more in-depth menu, and that's really you can toggle between the two fairly quickly. So again, trying to make it as easy to use as possible. We won't focus too much on navigation today, but I did want to highlight that. So we'll go over to our new sales order, and I'm going to do a series of orders just to kind of highlight some of the features that we have available. So in the first one, we'll just start a new sales order. We'll pick our customer and go ahead and select it. And I was using our type ahead feature to select the customer. And again, it's just a website, so you have type ahead capabilities. And what I wanted to do is highlight, the first feature I wanted to highlight was the ability to bring an order in from a spreadsheet. So the customer might send a list of all the things they want to order, and rather than rekeying everything where you have the potential for, keying in a wrong item or a wrong quantity, and errors, as we know, in order entry cost lots of money. So that ability to very easily bring in an order via an upload feature really has a lot of value to it. So we'll go ahead and click on our uploads, load records from file button. And this is also available in virtually every data entry screen within the system, not just order entry, GL, AP, purchase orders, everywhere throughout. So we'll choose the file, and I'll go over to my desktop, and I'll pick my purchase order, and we'll go ahead and upload it. And we'll click OK. So here we have a spreadsheet that had basically 3 columns to it, and I have column headers on there which match the property name within Acumatica. But if I did need to do some basic mapping, everything is in English. So if I wanted to, if they had a price in the system, we could very easily put that price in. There's the quantity field, there's the line description field, the inventory ID. Everything's basically in English, which makes it really quite a bit easier to work with. So once the customer service rep would line up everything based on what's in the spreadsheet and the property names, they'll go ahead and click OK. So at that point, Acumatica, really without going to the IT department, is bringing in maybe a 50-line order or a 100-line order relatively quickly. As you can see, that is now, all those items are now in. They're priced accordingly based on the customer's pricing today. And in some places, it's even saying where I might not have all of them available. So again, it's going to highlight that we only have, at the bottom of the screen, you can see that we have 6 available. The customer wanted 8. So we'll be able to know that on one of the items, we're actually going to go into back order. But it highlights that to, again, make it very easy for the customer service rep to identify any issues. So at that point, we'll go ahead and save the order. And at that point, we can now process the order. But there's one last thing that I like to show in these cases is, yes, we brought in, imported that record, that spreadsheet with all these items on it, but I also want to drag and drop it off of my desktop and attach it to the order. So under Files on this order, we're going to be able to see the spreadsheet that we used to open up. And here is a copy of that spreadsheet. We'll just open it up in Excel real quick so you can see what I was actually bringing in. And that ability to attach, and as we can see here are the items that we had, the order, and actually make it, again, very noticeable that, yes, we have an attached file to this order, and it was so easy for us to, one, import it in, and 2, attach it. So anyone who drills down on this order 6 months from now, a year from now, is going to see that there was a PO that we uploaded from a spreadsheet to create this order for the customer. So we have that traceability of making sure if the customer said, gee, I only wanted 3 of these and not 5. No, here's the spreadsheet you sent us. And this is what we did in turn send you. So again, it's all about being able to provide some additional value back to our customers. And they see how easy these features are to use, and they know that their organization would be able to very easily adopt these new features and functions into the system. So that was the first thing that I wanted to show. And the next area, I'm going to start a new order. And again, we'll pick our USA bartending customer there. And again, just typed ahead and went for it. So we'll go ahead and add a stock item. And we do have what's called a sold since. So here are all of the items this customer has ever bought. What was their last price? What was their last, when did they order it? How many they ordered? But again, I can go back from the beginning of time here and maybe go back a few years even to display all of what they've ordered from us. So again, we can very easily place a new item or a new order for that customer. So again, very easy to look at sales history from our order entry. But I'm going to go ahead and sell a laptop computer, and we'll sell quantity 1. So from here, I can go over to our shipping settings and shop for rates. So we have integrations with UPS and FedEx to be able to take the item weights, the type of box this item might normally fit into, and ping their API. So through web services, we're able to real time say, for $19, it'll only take 7 days, and we can send this UPS ground, and it's going to go in a medium-sized box. We have the box dimensions and weights already in the system, so we can go ahead and accept that. On our total screen, we can see that the freight cost was $19.94, and that was added to the total order. We do have the ability to add handling charges to the order as well, if that customer was so configured with the shipping terms associated with that. We can mark up the cost of freight to take into account handling charges as well. Now, the next thing that I want to show on this particular order is on our payment settings. They normally pay by check, but today they wanted to pay by credit card. So we'll go ahead and select a new card. And Adrian was nice enough to give me her credit card prior to the demo. And as you can see, as soon as I typed in the credit card number, it got masked. It already pinged authorized.net, and we've got a token back. We'll put in the expiration date, the name on the card, and the CVC number, and we'll hit save. And now I'm able to get a pre-authorization of the card from inside of Acumatica. And in a lot of systems that I've worked with over the years, what I just did was a third-party product. To be able to get that pre-authorization, or even to do a capture of the funds if we were doing things like a counter sale. So built in, the fact that we don't need to have a third-party product, it's built into Acumatica. So inside of Acumatica, our web services API pinged authorized.net, got the token back, and then got the authorization ID as well. One last thing to note, that in our demonstration data, the APIs for getting the freight rate shopping and the credit card authorization are part of our standard demo data. So any partner that takes on Acumatica will be able to do these presentations with virtually no setup required. We've done all that for you We've got the test accounts. We went ahead and shared that in our demo data. So you're really set to go on this. So from here, we've got a total of 519. It's now in a pre-authorized amount. And obviously we haven't captured the funds, so it's still an unpaid balance. After we ship this order, we would then be able to do a capture of funds and net out this particular transaction. So those are two features that, again, that we have that are built into Acumatica, keeps the cost of ownership down, and as we show this to existing customers, they again like the fact that it's built in. On another type of an order, we're going to again select our USA bartending customer. And in this case, again, we're going to pick that Acer laptop again. And again, we just use the type ahead. It does the search for me. It pulls it back. And we'll do quantity 1 there. Keep it simple. And what I wanted to do here was what's called a quick order. And this kind of, I debated as to whether I should show this in sales order processing or show this as part of our workflow automation. That'll be at the very end. I decided to show it at the beginning. It could have gone in either spot though. So we're going to do what's called a quick order. And in this, a lot of cases where we might do a quick order might again be in a type of a counter sale or point of sale integrations. We'll go ahead and shop for rates again real quick, and we'll pick our UPS ground. There we go, UPS ground. We'll click OK. And now we'll do our quick order process. Now these steps are definable. So in a very easy fashion, we're able to say, let's go ahead and automatically print out the pick list. Let's automatically go ahead and print that ship confirmation, or basically a bill of lading. Let's print out the shipping labels for us. So you get to define what steps do you want automated. Do we want to email the invoice? Do we want to post the invoice to the GL? I've basically turned everything on, which in any given situation, you probably wouldn't turn everything on because different companies have different workflow processes, but this allows us to very easily define the workflow process that we want for this particular sales order. So let's go ahead and click OK, and we'll see what happens. So it's processing the document. So again, you always get a lot of good interaction with Acumatica. The shipment's created, the pick list is printing. The labels are out. The ship confirmation went to the printer. The invoice is created because we've shipped the product. Excuse me. And now it's probably emailing the invoice out to the customer as we speak. So now let's go ahead and start seeing what we actually did. And again, we have that ability to turn on what's actually been doing it. So now that all the processors are done, the system is giving us a chance to actually look through what's been handled with the system. Here's our ship confirmation. And I have things, instead of printing to the printer, actually coming to the screen so we can, of course, see everything. So the first thing it did is it created the shipment for us. Once we have our shipment, we were able to print the pick ticket. And as you can see, they are actually barcode ready. From there, we were able to print the shipping labels. So again, inside of the presentation, I am able to show what the label will look like. Here's a copy of the shipment confirmation. And lastly, a copy of the invoice, which is now in an open state because we did post it to the GL. And under our activities tab, we're able to see that it was indeed emailed, because again, we can email directly out of Acumatica a copy of the invoice. And of course, there is the PDF of the invoice that went for the one Acer laptop to the customer. But that ability to define those steps that your business requires to be done automatically. So in a lot of cases, you take an order, you may just want the pick ticket to go down automatically. So you may want the pick ticket to be printed for you. You may want the shipping label to be printed out or the confirmation to be processed for you. So again, depending upon the size of the organization, sometimes these extra automation steps are going to come in very handy because you don't have a lot of people in the warehouse, and having some of these steps happen automatically are great. It's going to save a lot of time. You're going to be able to do more work. So, but it's that user definability of the process where we're not really doing a lot of complicated programming or steps. We're just saying, okay, every time I want to do a quick process, here's what's going to happen. And this fits my business. And that's what's the important step, that ability to predefine all of these steps ahead of time. I'll just go ahead and close off some of these tabs now. And again, the sales order also gets updated. It's now in a completed status because, again, it's been picked, packed, and shipped and invoiced. So everything updates automatically. So that was the sales order part of it. And again, we covered the uploaded attachments. We covered the freight rate shopping. We covered the credit card processing and the quick process for predefining the workflow steps of how you want your orders to be processed without any real human interaction. So that was the first area. And again, every time we show these features, especially to legacy customers, they're really quite taken by what newer technology can actually do for them in a sales order, which effectively, a sales order is a sales order. But with these additional functionality, we are able to provide quite a bit of extra value to our customers. So the next area I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to and show our Outlook integration. So here is my Outlook inbox, and I'll highlight an email that I've got from one of our customers. And on inside of Outlook, we now have an Acumatica icon. And really, this takes about, I'd say on average, 20 to 30 seconds to install. It is that easy to integrate your Outlook and your Acumatica instances together. So we'll just go ahead and click on that Acumatica icon for the highlighted email that we have, and we can find that Ken is not really in our system yet, but I'm going to create him as an existing contact to one of my customers. So Ken's in the purchasing department, and he's part of Boulder Couriers. So even inside of Outlook, I did my type ahead. It found the customer's match. I didn't have to do the lookup and search. I just started typing. It found the match for me. He came in from the web, and I'm going to create Ken as a contact. So in this email, Ken wants to, buy a new laptop. So I want to now create an opportunity. So from within Outlook, your sales reps are going to be able to interact with Acumatica seamlessly while they stay in Outlook. And as we all know, everybody, lives in Outlook anyway. It's the first application everybody opens first thing in the morning. So we're going to say he wants a new laptop. It's going to be a $1,000 laptop. And we're going to say create the opportunity. So now that opportunity is created. So let's go ahead and view the opportunity. Again, we're staying inside of Outlook. So inside of Acumatica now is a new opportunity for $1,000 from Ken, who works at Boulder. And under the Activities tab, the original email that started all this is already inside of the opportunity. And at this point, it's a new opportunity. Everyone in the organization will have visibility to this new opportunity. So his sales manager is going to be able to, follow up with, the rep to make sure that the opportunity is being followed up on. Everyone has visibility. It's no longer in a sales rep's inbox. It's now in Acumatica, where everyone will have visibility to better manage this opportunity to make sure it doesn't fall through the cracks. So at this point, it's just a regular CRM process. We can follow up on things. We can create a sales quote for it, really just about anything. But again, it's that how easy can we make it? And that's the key. I've worked with a lot of systems that had Exchange and Outlook integrations, and they were cumbersome. Because they were cumbersome, they didn't get used as much. This couple clicks, everything's already populated. Our adoption rate is very high amongst sales reps that have access to this. Now, two things to note. Acumatica does not charge for individual user licenses. And the Outlook integration that I just showed is part of the CRM suite. So there are no additional charges either for sales reps or to get this functionality. It's built in. So we'll close off the Outlook now and we'll go back to Acumatica. Now the next thing that I wanted to show was our customer portal. And this is a tool that as that ability to increase customer stickiness, meaning keeping customers from going to your competition, that ability to provide them with a portal access to their account that you have with them really makes customers a little stickier. And stickier customers will continue to purchase, and it's a lot less expensive to sell to an existing customer than it is to find a new one. And that's the whole premise behind how can we make customers more sticky. So when they log in, a couple of the areas that we find get the most play is in the area of placing an order. So we'll go over to our catalog, and our catalog is really going to show a couple of things that make it a lot of value back to our customers. The first area is what's my price for an item? So rather than the customer having to call and get a hold of a customer service rep and they ask, what's my price on this Acer laptop? It's $500. What if I buy 3 of them? Price went down to $475 because the portal is sitting on the same database that Acumatica was sitting on. So it's a different URL, very specific to customer facing. So we have 2 different websites, 2 different URLs, one for Acumatica and one for the portal, but both looking at the same database. So the data the customer is looking at in terms of pricing and also product availability. What do you have in stock? Do you have 10 of these in stock for me right now? So what's my price and do you have it in stock? Rather than the customer having to call in, they can get this online. We're making it easier for customers to do business with you and hopefully making them a little stickier than they used to be able, than they might normally have been. So again, as we show this, it's part of our CRM suite. It is available to our customers, and it's also, from a VAR's perspective, very easy to install the second instance of another website talking to the database. It's literally, as you go through the installation process, it's one checkbox option on the installer to be able to put up a customer portal for either demonstrations or live. So again, you got it in stock, what's my price? And the last thing we usually get a lot of is in the area of like the documents is, do we have this in stock, or can you send me a copy of my invoice? So here are all of their invoices. We can even put a filter on it to show just their open invoices or their unapplied payments if they'd like. But again, they're going to be able to print a copy of their invoice. So rather than the customer calling in, saying, can you send me a copy of my invoice? They can say, well, it's available on the portal. They can get pricing, they can get availability, they can place an order, they can get a copy of their invoice after 5 o'clock on a Friday. And again, the easier you can make it for customers to do business with you, the stickier they become. And most of our customers that we show this to recognize that it is truly less expensive to sell to an installed base than it is to acquire new customers. And if we can help with the customer retention by having this, again, other feature or function available, that's a good thing. We get a lot of play from our customer portal. So the next area that I want to highlight is in the area of field service. So let's go back over to Acumatica, and we'll go over to our more items, and we'll go over to our services module. And we'll create, we can create service orders directly from within Acumatica, and that's what we'll go ahead and do here is we'll create a service order. Now you'll notice that these screens look a lot alike. The sales order screen we were just on looks a lot like our service orders, which oddly enough look a lot like our purchase order screen. So once you learn one of the modules, you get up to speed on the rest of the system very quickly. So let's go ahead and start a new service order real quickly. We'll pick our bartending school again. So again, the same type of head features available to us. And we'll add a new service type, and it'll be for air conditioning repair service. And as you notice, this can be either based on a flat rate or based on time. And the service IDs that we've selected are in essence basically non-stock items. Think of them that way. So in this case, that non-stock item came up with an estimated duration of 1 hour and about a $75 per hour charge. So at this point, we can now go ahead and schedule this service order on our calendar board. And this is really where we start differing from a lot of the existing systems that are out there. Everyone could have done a sales order for a non-stock item. That's nothing new. But the ability to schedule this and look at a board that says, okay, if the appointment is in red, it hasn't been confirmed yet. If the appointment is in green, we have confirmed it. If the appointment is in blue, that appointment's actually started and David's actually on site doing the work. So from a visual cue perspective, very easy to see what's going on. So we'll go ahead and take this service order and we'll go ahead and schedule it over to Joe, and we'll make it for 8 a.m. So again, just drag and drop. And we'll go ahead and hit save. So from here, a couple things that we can do. We can email the customer saying, hey, Joe's going to be out next Tuesday and going to go do the work. And we can also email Joe to let him know he's on the hook to do an appointment. So again, a lot of that internal communications Acumatica does a very nice job with. We also have the ability to clone an appointment. So if it's going to take multiple days to complete, we would just clone it for those multiple days and everything is going to be on the calendar. We can also have multiple people or multiple staff members on an appointment, and it would also block their calendars out as well. So we'll close this down, and now we can see a confirmed appointment under Joe's name. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and start my mobile device. And I just want to mirror that. And let's see if that's going to come up. So we should all be seeing my iPhone right now. And on my iPhone, I have our Acumatica map already installed. So this is, I'll just sign off real quick, is pointed at the same URL that I was just having my browser point to. We'll log in. And out of the box, Acumatica has a variety of different areas of the software that have been enabled onto our mobile app. This is not everything that we could do. Our mobile app framework actually comes with Acumatica. So any screen inside of Acumatica can be brought over to the mobile app, including our dashboards, as a matter of fact, that you saw when we first logged in. I'll go ahead and just pick on our appointments list. So from the mobile app, the technician is now able to see the different appointments that he has. And I'm just going to skew this down in a filter to pick today's date so that we can see the appointment. And there it is for the repair of the air conditioner. So we'll go ahead and select it. So the first thing that Joe is going to need to do is he's going to need to know, well, how do I get to this customer? So we'll go to View on Map. And within the system, I'm actually located in Colorado, and the customer happens to be located in New Jersey that I picked. So it's only going to take about a day and a half for me to drive there. But again, real-time driving directions, it's only 1,800 miles to get there. But more importantly, really what we're doing is leveraging the native capabilities of what's on a smartphone, so that did we have to really do much? No, we just had to have, again, our web services API talk to, in this case, Bing Maps to get the directions. Well, I don't really need to know how to do that, so I'm going to go back to the appointment. So the next thing that we might do, Joe's on site, he's going to start the appointment. Back in Acumatica on the calendar board we just had up, that green appointment just turned blue because our status is now in process. So Joe looks at the air conditioner, he does the service work, and he has to put some comments in terms of letting everybody back at the home office know what he did. Now, most technicians really aren't good at texting, so they aren't going to, text in that the service was completed, we just had to clean a filter, the unit is now functioning perfectly. But I think most technicians that I know actually know how to talk into their phones, so they don't have to worry about just typing in a few things and probably mistyping them. They can actually say everything that they want to do about this appointment, and it will be transcribed automatically. We're again leveraging the native capabilities of the phone. Did we develop this? No, we just turned on dictation on my iPhone, and all of that information is now in the database. The next thing that we might want to do, if we needed to, we could have gone over to our inventory items, and maybe we needed to get a new breaker for this. So we could have taken things off the truck, and again, we can search just like we did, and even our search, square D breaker, and it'll find what I'm looking for. It didn't find it in the ID, it found it in the description. So we could say, you know what, we needed to actually bill one of these out, it's not under warranty, and we're going to take it off the truck. And now this has been added to that service order as well. The last thing, now that everything is done, we of course want to complete the appointment. And after we complete the appointment, we could also, if we needed to, take a picture of the completed work. So although this isn't an air conditioning unit, you'll get the idea that we're able to do that. And that picture is now part of the system as well. And it's now an attached file. We could from here preview a signed work order, but we could also sign this as well. So my signature is now attached to the file, just like the picture was. And of course, from there, we could preview the report or email it to the customer just as easily. So now that all that's actually done, let's go back over to Acumatica, and we'll just refresh our calendar board. And that appointment has gone gray because it's now completed. If we click on the appointment itself, and I'll just make this a bit bigger for everyone, we can see that we have those two attached files, the image of the work that's been done, and also the signature file as well. If we go over to the comments section, all that comments are there as well. We can also see under the inventory items that we did need an extra breaker, and the $75 service call is now been added. That $20 for the breaker has been added to it and will also be billed to the customer. On the location, we are tracking the GPS locations of where was this technician standing when he started the appointment and when he completed the appointment. So this is a little background check. We are beginning to get into the GPS tracking as well. So within our mobile app, we're able to do the signature captures. We're able to do the dictation, and we're also able to interact with our inventory module and also the GPS locations. When we're finding more and more customers are doing work in the field, and the ability to schedule those appointments through our field service module is again adding a lot of value back to the customers. And again, this is getting to be a very good vertical for us, the area where you sell, you install, you repair. We also have service contracts as part of the suite as well. So that leaves really the last area, which is our workflow automation. And I'm just going to pop over to our dashboards and go over to our CRM dashboard. But first, what we're going to do is through our dashboard, we're going to import leads and we're going to assign them automatically. So I'm going to log out as my user I've been working with, and I'm going to log in as one of my sales reps. And we're going to go over to the salesperson dashboard. And we're going to highlight that this particular rep has 21 new leads. So remember that number. I'm going to log out as our sales rep for a moment, log back in as our administrator. And we'll go back into the CRM dashboard. Again, this kind of goes to the usability that we have this predefined workflow kind of built into a dashboard. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to import some leads. So in this case, we have a lot of predefined templates as part of Acumatica, including, oddly enough, import CRM leads. So we'll select that one. And the first thing we're going to do, the last time we did this, we imported about 19 records. And we're now going to, whoops, didn't want to do that one. I actually wanted to upload a new file. And we'll go over to my desktop and my trade show leads. And I'll upload those. So we're going to bring in a fresh set of leads. And let's go ahead and take a look at them to make sure we have all the right data, which we do. And we have 77 in that file I just brought in. Now the mapping for this has already been done, but we can have virtually an unlimited number of these import scenarios in the system. Acumatica has these templates available for you. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to import them in. So now it's bringing in all of these 77 leads in. We also have a capability of checking for duplicates as we're bringing them in, although I believe that feature is turned off. So we process them all with no errors. So let's go back over to our CRM dashboard now, and now we're going to assign them. So again, we brought all these leads in, so we have assignment rules built into the system. Here are those 77 leads we just brought in. And what we want to do is we want to be able to say, based on, the state, or based on the area code, or based on really whatever information we want, we can create these different types of assignment rules in the system to say, okay, let's assign all these leads out based on the rules we've already put into the system. So I'll just say process all, and we'll bring them in. So again, as we see all these nice little green checkbox, these have all processed completely, and we're really just waiting for the rest of the leads to be brought in. It's actually usually pretty efficient. Usually takes less than a minute. In this case, it took 19 seconds to assign 77 leads to the appropriate person. So now let's go back into our sales rep. And then we'll pop over to the sales rep dashboard. And now we have 78 new leads. So of the 77, 57 of them were assigned to this rep based on the information we've predefined. And of course, with any of our dashboards, we can drill down, and here are those 57 new leads. But also, as we look at this dashboard, you can see some of these widgets are in green, or they're yellow, or they're red. Well, 78 new leads that haven't been touched yet, that's a bad number. I don't want that to be, I want to make that highlighted. So red typically means bad. So let's highlight that. So as the rep comes in, they log in. Again, we don't charge for user licenses, so everybody can have their own dashboard. The Kay Williams logs in. She sees, oh, I've got 78 new leads. I've got to work on that. That's in red. I don't have any nurturing calls that are past due or plus 30 days, so that's in green. So again, based on thresholds that you set, these widgets will go into different colors to highlight things that I really don't have to worry about now, things I might have to worry about a little bit later in the day, and things I have to do immediately. And the immediate things are not all the things that have gone well, but the things that I've got to jump on now, like having 78 new leads. I've got to reach out to these. I've got to start sending some emails out and really get a handle on this. So that concludes the presentation today of what we were going to cover in the